time to celebrate. We are building again in the world of Ark, and we are going to get creative on some truly ascended building designs. With the spirit of Bob Ross back in our hearts and a brand new Ark to play, let's explore the ascended building system together, using happy accidents to learn new techniques while we test the limits of what's possible in Ark in 2024. You know, the island map I first explored 9 years ago looks amazing now. All my favorite locations are waiting to be explored again, and every biome needs a new base build. Today we travel to the Arctic icebergs of the Sunset Sea, where we build a futuristic aviary. In part 1, we reveal the #1 most powerful building piece in Ark and unlock that power to turn a simple hexagon into a beautiful spiral foundation. Then in part 2, we invent Polygonal Tubes we can use to travel to the top of our aviary. You'll love Polygonal Tubes so much you'll never use another ladder, especially when you see who fits inside a Pelagornis Tube. In part 3, we add a warm, safe base and fill it with everything you'd need to live on the edge of the world in an Arctic outpost base. And finally, in part 4, we will ascend to the top of our structure. There we will design and build a stunning glass aviary inspired by a birdcage, complete with 3 Argies, 2 Pteranodons, and 1 truly underrated Pelagornis, all at the behest of the mysterious Aviator. Join me, geeks, for Ark Building Ascended. Good morning, my friends. We're back for another day of building in the frozen wilds of Ark, and that suits me as a Canadian. I wonder if that suits the Aviator as well. We made a lot of progress. We started with a sign that said we would build something unique, and here in the frozen wilds, we seem to have made some great progress on that, and the Aviator has left us another sign. It says, "Can you reinvent the ladder, UTC? If you could, I would even say Polygonal Tubes 3 times fast." That is cryptic. But yes, Polygonal Tubes is a very interesting phrase, but reinvent the ladder, I mean, we already have the beginnings of a reinvented ladder. This is pretty easy. Now, how do you go from here? And how do you, what about a tube? Well, that's really interesting. I think we have a couple of options. I think the first thing that we're going to do is, I'm going to take a look at my inventory, and I think the piece we need, it's going to be on 4. And I think what we're going to do for our next step, towards the inside of our spiral here, what we're going to do is we're going to want to build with a wall. And one of these should go in easy, like so. That one should go in too. Yes, and then there should be another, and there should be 2 different snap points as you go up. There should be one here based on this thing, and another one here based on this thing. You can see they're on totally different angles, and we're just going to follow the one above, like so. And then we'll go up again, and don't build off the last one, just snap up, and we're just going to do this. And this is my best guess for how to accomplish the required, the required polygon tubes. But this is it. That's the start of something. We'll go up and fix that heavy little accident up there before, but then we just go back to the same building piece we had before. Now, we alternate every time. So we had this equilateral shape, and then we have this right angle triangle. So coming off the right angle triangle, what we're going to need is the equilateral shape, not this one. So we'll take this one, and then we'll just see. There. Well, that could work. Hey, that's something. Okay, it's the upside down version. This is symmetry. It is beautiful, simple symmetry. Check this out, guys. Yes, just like that. It should be obvious. Check this out. Check it out. Okay, so every time we go equilateral right angle, and when we make that transition from one to the other, the plane changes, and we make I guess 1/12 or something of a rotation around the sphere, an imaginary sphere that's in the middle of this. And then with this, if you see our point for the equilateral points up and for the right angle points down, if we go to this one, our right angle point goes to the top and our equilateral point goes to the bottom. And it should be just as easy to build. And if you look, I don't think we're quite there yet. I don't think I've quite mastered it, but yes. Crouch in here. Who can reinvent the ladder? How hard was that? Hey, this piece is magic. We are unlocking a lot of power when we build with it. Alright, my friends, so it's important to do these steps in order. I talked to you about this section, the sloped walls that we're going to be building with, and I think the simplest way to do these is to climb up on the row beside and to advance upwards. Like I said, you start at the top and then you come down. I need to do this all the way up in order to make snapping in the next segment easier. So I'm going to take this all the way to the top. I think we'll just go ahead and stop right there, guys. So for one of these spires, I've gone ahead and put walls in all the way up. We'll have to do this for all of them. And we have worked out a sort of a temporary entrance. I would like to make this better. I wonder what the easiest way to do that would be. Yeah, honestly, that would work. I think we'll take away everything closer to the middle than this, and hopefully nothing collapses for us. I don't think it will, because this building system is nice and tight now, which is cool. Oh yeah. Oh, how simple is that? Okay, well now we have a nice little space on the inside to work with, and we have an easy entrance for the first of our tubes. The rest we might close up. We'll see how we feel about it, but I have to now add walls all the way up to the peak with the other 5, and then I need to add these floors all the way up to the peak. Are you having fun yet? I am. These tubes and building an entire structure out of them is sort of madness, and the fact that they also work as ladders. We're back playing Ark, guys, and we're doing cool things. Now you're gonna make a stylistic choice here if you want. You can change the texture of any of these and give them the reverse. You can flip them inside out. That's easy enough to do. We'll try it out on this tube. I don't think we're gonna do this, guys. We're building a 3-sided polygonal tube. I like that each side has its own surface, but if you're painting it, maybe this would be a better way to do it, and you could try out what takes paint better, which surface, and which one you want to use. But if you look, guys, we have this top surface striped, the inner surface smooth, and I like the chunky bottom surface. I think it works for a triple-sided polygonal tube, but it's up to you. I just wanted to point out you can flip it and change these textures. But this next phase of the build, guys, is about flow. So if you're building in survival, you gather all your materials, you get on the inside, and you just build your way up. Once the top and the sides are in place, it's easy to do. And if you're building in creative like me, you can fly here on the outside, and we just find that rhythm and we alternate this piece, one version then the other, and one right side up, one upside down. It's that easy. So we're going to do this all the way to the top. We're going to try to find that rhythm. It's easier in this new version of Ark. You know, I dream about this game again now, my friends, and I used to think up fixes that were kind of like hacks. I looked at things like, oh, this straw roof can go here where a stone roof can't, and then I can replace the straw with stone. And that was how I came up with some of my cool looking builds. I was kind of breaking the game, but this is different. This is like geometry, and it's perfect, and it just keeps working, and it's very weird. It's a different type of game. It's a different type of building system. It's a different thing to dream about. So if you only play in survival, I might suggest just go in creative one day and just play around, because you can problem solve. Anyway, I don't need to talk too much about that, guys, but I'm loving it, and these things just work out beautifully. We're not getting here with hacks. We're not breaking the system. We're using the system, one building piece primarily, and we're coming up with a ridiculous structure. This whole thing's 2 types of building pieces. One, and then another version of it, and then a wall, and the upside down version of that wall. I guess it was 4 in the old Ark, but it's brilliant now. Look at perfect square. It's perfect every time. Guys, I don't know how to, I can't tell you how this feels after years of playing Ark to get up here and have this be perfect. It means that each of these 6 gaps is going to have a ceiling on the other side, and in the middle is a perfect hexagon, just waiting for us to be done, to get back to where we started. And we have to build an aviary inside this structure for 4 Eyes, chicken legs, Fatso, Buckwheat, and Eddie down there. And we gotta have a point to build off of. And now we have that. We have this elegant structure, and it's working out so nicely. I can't tell you how that feels. It's going to be great. And by part 3 or 4, we're going to be building this aviary and coming up into the heart of this. But today was about the polygonal tubes. And, you know, let's just check this. Let's just see. Old Ark, you would have 2 different snap points right here. We're going to take this thing out of here. We're going to have a quick peek, and we'll see if it's the same on both sides. Very same. It's a perfect build, guys. We kind of did it. That's awesome. All right. I can't wait to keep working on this with you. But when you get a moment like this, in a build like this, trust me, you want to take advantage of it and just lock it in and go, cool. Well, now I know what that width is, and work with it as your design unfolds around you. And this one truly does unfold. I have several more tubes to complete. I'm going to work on those, build out the bottoms on, I think, 4 more. I don't think I will actually submit you guys to watching me build all 6 of these in today's video, but I have lots to talk about. And the one that popped to my mind, and this, I thought about this a couple times. I should have looked up who it was, Michelangelo or Raphael, or somebody said, you know, when you're carving a statue, you're not carving the thing out of it. You're just removing everything around the thing that was already there. So David, I think it was Michelangelo probably, David was just in there, in this block of marble, just waiting to be, you know, revealed, right? So it's sort of like the idea of the muse, right? You're not really coming up with it, you're just tapping into a creative energy that's always existed in the universe, that kind of thinking, right? And so if it's Michelangelo and I'm right, David was just in that piece of marble, and he just had to remove everything around David to show everybody what was hiding inside. And I think this build, this is going to sound, I'm going to sound really haughty as I talk about this, but I think this build felt like that. And it's a credit to the building system and just me experimenting, I guess, but the design of the building system and everybody who were content creators who built in the previous version of the game. If I'd stayed in this world, somebody might have called me and asked what I thought. But the folks they did call, they did a great job. This just works. And when me building this cool, unorthodox design that's probably like something you've never seen before in Ark, it doesn't even look like Ark. That's what people have said when I've showed it to them. You know, it just sort of felt like I was just revealing it. I started building at the bottom and I got to the top, and look what's here. It's so cool. So I hope I have time to fit this in my life and to make building in this game and hanging out with you guys and making videos a thing again. But it's just so thrilling, and to have this, it gives me so many new things to do. I'm never going to get bored, you know. Anyway, let's get into it, guys. We're almost through this build. A few more things to get done. It's just so exciting. It's going to be hard to get bored. So I want to make time for this. I want to be back in your life, guys. So let me know in the comments. Tell me with the like and subscribe button too how you feel. And I'll do this whenever I can make it possible. It's been so much fun just making a couple of videos for you. It's old times. It's amazing. So we have built a landing here. Now this is not an ideal spot to do the birds, and I don't think we're ready to turn this into an aviary yet, but our challenge was polygonal tubes, and I now have a few of them on the go. They all come up to this height and everything is perfectly aligned. I have to finish off these ones, but good gosh, what a fun way to build and what a fun design to come up with as we go here. I'm really really amped up about it. This is great. Alright, my friends, we have been trying our darndest to accomplish today's goal in the overall challenge, and I think we're well on our way. What we now have are these tubes, and I made a whole big pile of them. I guess we're missing a couple of pieces here and there. These are going to could be our entrances, but what I'd like to do right now is clean up some of this space. Alright, friends, we've added a couple of entrances, and we have one across from it, a main tube that we're going to go up, and now we're going to go up and see what we can find up there. Now let's go ahead and equip this just to see, in case it were dark, what we would be dealing with. It's not really dark, so this is a bad test, but the snow biome seems to make it work. I seem to get lots of light in here. Let me know what it looks like. I've tried building with metal in a wet, rainy jungle, and it is very, very reflective, so you have a very different experience traveling through here. I like building this in the snow. So we're missing a ceiling up here, and that is because it looks like we need Do I have these? No, I thought I did. It looks like we need greenhouse ceiling. Pop one of those in here, and there we go. So that, my friends, is one way up, and that is a very neat little top alcove. Now we'll have to adjust this depending on what level we decide to exit these at, but I would like to have the option to continue upward from here. I think it's time to take the roof off this thing. Let's see what we got here, guys. I think if we were to fly up and remove a few of these, we would see we have a little room for flexibility here. And what I want to do is pick 3 of our spires, and we are going to try building up here. And I'll try and get my groove back. Oh, this building system is good. Okay. We have a little bit more work to do, my friends, and we have nearly completed the next phase of our goal. And we're going to go up and build our final 3 struts. So after the idea of coming up with a new shape, we have done that. And then the idea is turn that shape into polygonal tubes. We did that, and not only that, oh, how did I, oh, because that takes you to the tip top? I don't remember. Why would I take this out? Oh, because it intersects. Yeah, that's going to intersect. That's okay. So what we'll do then is we'll build off at this height. And I don't know what kind of ceiling I got there. And then this. And we'll hope that this is one of the right shapes. Let's pick you up. Okay, so that should keep us in. And that is one of the right shapes. It's just different from the one above, but this is how it's worked out every time. And it's really quite simple and beautiful. So we're just going to go ahead and bring these pieces in here. And I think what we'll do is we'll just segment this off. I haven't figured out exactly how yet, but we'll close this section up in a way that lets my tubes go all the way through. But what I have now is a tube that goes all the way from the top. It switches somewhere around here in the middle, and it brings you all the way up to here. It is pretty phenomenal and pretty fun. So I am kind of elated that we got this far. So we're up here at the tip top. I think we will probably end up peaking this off, and we won't need to come up to this height, but we're going to create openings further down. As you can see, I am partially done. I am fully done this tube. I am partially done this tube, and I am partially done this one. So I'm going to finish these up as quickly as I know how and bring you back to wrap up this section. I put in a card earlier that said, "This is a big build, take a break." I should have done that myself, guys. This is a little fourth wall breaking, but I'm bringing you some stuff from later on in this special build series that we're doing, in which I will have done some work at the bottom and the top, including the glass aviary. And I was just working, trying to get myself some cool screenshots for thumbnails and stuff, and those glamour shots at the beginning of the video with all the birds' heads poking out of the aviary. So ignore those, by the way, those pillars in the middle. This build is work in progress, and I struggled to know how to finish this episode, but something I discovered a day or two after this is what's going to end this episode. So thank you for joining me, guys. We will continue with this building. We'll work on the base and the bird cage. But now we're going to cut to a moment I had where I was just trying to stick these birds' heads out the window. And this is where my aviary is. It's in the second spiral. And I started walking up the tube, riding an underrated Pelagornis, as I say in the intro to every part of this special series. And look at him. He just walks all the way to the top. I'm going to come back in this clip and remove this railing because it makes it a little bit more difficult. But check this boy out. Right girl. Her name is Enid. All the way to the top. And walking is better. But I'm going to show you that's not the only option. You can fly a Pelagornis up and down these two, and it's ridiculous. So we are working for a mysterious aviator, and he gave us RGs, and he gave us a couple of pteranodons, but it's this bird that I discovered a little bit later on that is the key that makes this build special, because you don't need an elevator and you don't need a ladder, even though we're building like 25 walls high or whatever the number is. It's a giant build. And you don't need to bother with any of that stuff because we have invented these polygonal tubes and polygonal tubes and now Pelagornis Tubes. Watch this. Now, it's a struggle, so I might edit this up so it's nice and tidy maybe, but I think walking with the Pelagornis is the best way. But guys, this is the only method of transport you need in this thing. It's for flyers, so you can fly out and fly in. Of course, it's easy, but how do you get up and down? Well, you can just walk your Pelagornis to the top and take off from there, or crawl it yourself. But I think Pelagornis is the fastest way up and down these tubes, which makes them a remarkable, cool innovation, and they're secret. I mean, look where we come out here. This is a secret room I build. It looks like a ventilation shaft, and this is the base we work on in part 3, so I'm giving you hints of what's to come, and I think as I flew around, you probably got a good peek at the aviary that's to come in part 4, but all of those things await us, and I hope you guys are enjoying this series and my grand return to Ark. We're doing some cool stuff, guys. Today was all about the Pelagornis Tubes, so stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching, my friends, and be sure to check out part 3 coming up next.